Hi, welcome to Pretty Truth. The truth isn't always pretty, but it's always the truth. Um, what should we talk about today? I've driven you crazy about my COVID experience. So let's delve deep into some real hypotheses and conspiracy theories. Um, what shape is the Earth in? Now, not what shape is the Earth in right now. I mean, it's fucked. That's the shape. But no, what is the actual shape of planet Earth? There's an entire flat Earth society, and now that has just kind of, you know, developed and spread into this online almost cult following. And it's very interesting. Um, the origins that I thought, history isn't always what they say that it is. And sorry. Oh my gosh, my hair. Oh, me and my hair. It's not falling out too bad today, but maybe my vitamin D is working. Okay. So, what we were taught in school was that the reason why people, back in the, you know, I want to say pre-written historic ages, but, Greece, Rome, early Britain, um, the Assyrians, recorded history. What we always were taught was that people thought that the earth was flat because, they had no frame of reference of being able to travel outside of the earth, go into space. Oh, starting that in a minute. What they saw was in front of them, and what they saw was not a ball or a spinning ball or a moving platform. They saw vast, flat land. And of course, the population, the civilizations, even if you go into a small town somewhere, you'll have bits and pieces of buildings and homes, but, then you'll have vast areas of flat land. Hills and mountains and things, but not when you look off into the horizon, you don't see, the curvature. So, it makes sense that they would think that the earth is flat. And then, of course, every day in their life, the sun, not they, but the sun rose. And then the sun would go down. And then the moon would come up, So, in their frame of reference of how they lived daily, and of course, we're talking about generational, their grandmama told them, the sun rises in the morning. I mean, even it's the year 2022 and we're still talking about, we still have those little sayings, rise and shine, oh, the moon is out tonight. We say little things like that are just, it's just been put into our minds, forever. And we don't want to be an asshole about it and go, what do you mean the moon's out tonight? Fuck you. Let's get into a 3-hour long conversation about what's really going on in the cosmos. People are lazy and people don't want to sound crazy. Although I guess I don't care about sounding crazy because that's why I make these videos. So, back then, everybody was on the same page about, yeah, the earth is flat. Oh, okay. So then, okay, don't quote me on this. I should have looked this up before I started this video, but was it Copernicus? Oh shit, I'm not even saying his name right, and I'm not even sure if he's the actual person, but whoever it was that made their little diorama, and that's probably not even the word either, about the earth being, still, and the, you know, planets and moons and suns revolving around the earth, and then he like figured it out. Oh no, actually the earth is moving, the sun is stationary, the moon is stationary, the stars, which are supposedly the suns of other planets far deep into the cosmos, those are stationary, the earth is moving. And then of course came, I don't know, from him. I'm not even sure if it was Copernicus, whatever. You have to look that up. My bad. I'll do my research before I do these videos. But I get these things in my mind. I'm like, oh, I have to make a video. So, whoever it was that decided that, wait, we got it wrong. The earth is what's, moving around. And I guess on a narcissistic level, maybe he wasn't a narcissist. He was like, wait a minute, it's not all about us. It's not the earth is just sitting here waiting for planets and stars and suns to revolve around us. Like, fuck that shit. No, we're like, we're hardcore. We're going to move ourselves, around into the cosmos. I don't know. But as that didn't take off so well, because anyone back then was considered, oh my gosh, they're the original conspiracy theorists, saying that the earth is actually moving, and then everybody was like, you're a witch, so yeah, so that, the popularity of that probably died down a little bit, and then it came up again, and then as air travel and even just sea travel, being able to, like chart the course of, ships and navigational tools, and the Vikings, shit. If we want to know anything, we need to find out from a Viking. Where are all those Viking sagas that they wrote? We need to freaking get those things out, dust them off, and read them with a freaking magnifying glass and really find out. They're probably really the ones who had all the answers. But anyway, so as people began to actually travel in our world, the idea of how things work changed. And then, people weren't like, you're a witch anymore. Now they were like, maybe there's something to that. So, the earth being flat then became the silly thing. At first it was like the earth is round and it moves. That was like, oh my God, what the fuck? What are you fucking on crack? Did they have crack then? Then it flip-flopped, and then if you believed that the earth was flat and not round and a spinning ball, then you were the weirdo. So now, and once again, I should have researched this. I don't know where the resurgence of the flat earth belief came about in our modern day times. I don't know who the pioneer of that, or who the instigators of that theory. Oh my gosh, me and my hair. I'm sorry. I keep picking at it. I just feel like at any moment it's just gonna all just completely come off and fall on the ground as though it was just a wig and it just came off. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So I don't know how the resurgence of the flat earth theory came back into our current modern day, hypotheses about life. But it is very interesting. And, I always say I'm spiritual. And although I've read the Bible actually cover to cover with a little bit of kind of cheating and circumventing some passages and books. I've read the Bible in its entirety once, and then I have perused it. Well, I've perused it many times, but I have perused it cover to cover maybe twice in my lifetime. But once again, I cannot quote scripture. If you said, hey, whatever, blah, 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 I could not get out of Bible and go, oh, boom, there it is. I couldn't do that. So I'm not going to lie. But, in Genesis, it does speak about the earth being created where the waters were separated and the firmament appeared. And in Hebrew, and once again, oh my gosh, my video is a complete soiree of my lazy non-research. So I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But from what I have gathered, in Hebrew, the word firmament, or whatever the Hebrew lettering for firmament technically means, is earth, land, dirt, a solid mass. And, if God separated waters and put a land mass between them, then doesn't that mean that space is not air or a oxygenless vacuum of no air? Doesn't it mean that it's water? If you look at a volcano, or if you look at an island that was formed by a volcano, the Hawaiian Islands, or, what's it? What is that really cool place that only came about in everybody's mind during the Second World War? Tora Tora, whatever. Remember? Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, oh my God, here we go again. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, any beautiful island that has been formed by volcanic eruptions and lava that has cooled over, thousands and millions of years, it came out of the water. Might not have anything to do with each other, but that is how in our lifetimes, or maybe not our lifetimes, but in our modern day, since the 1800s is when they started, kind of going, oh wow, that landmass wasn't there on earlier maps, and now it is. It literally came out of the water, and it's usually next to volcanic ash and lava that has been in the water and then cooled and then come out of the water and formed into a landmass. So I'm not saying that that God's a volcano who erupted made land. I'm not saying that, but there is something to be said about what Genesis says. Everybody is like, oh, life is hard. I wish I had like a freaking manual. Well, it's called the Bible. I mean, pretty much anything in the Bible about how to live and be cool with other people is pretty much in there. And then not being cool with people and, what happens after that is also in there. It's like, reward and punishment. So, of course, how the earth was formed and how people were formed and how things, evolved from out of nothing is kind of in that book. Dust it off, read it. So yeah. Okay. let's talk about the other point that the flat earthers continually to make mention of when they're trying to, dispute their claims against them that the earth is flat. Now, I'm not saying it is, so hold on one second. Don't freak out. Don't get mad at me. Don't throw your computer on the floor. Don't walk away. Don't turn me off. Don't unsubscribe. The thing that flat earthers always talk about is Antarctica. So I made a couple of notes about it. Finally did a little research. Okay. So in 1924, from my notes, Richard Byrd, now I couldn't remember what this dude's name was, but I remembered about him and his exploration of Antarctica and all the stuff that happened. And I think that he died or was murdered or whatever. But in 1924, he went to, or I guess he flew over the, what's it called? It's ice shelf. Oh, what's it called? The Ross Ice Shelf. And he started at, I guess, the South Pole and then flew over Antarctica, which is right by the South Pole. And it took him 18 hours and 41 minutes. Now, I'm no mathematician. I can barely count on two hands. I'm like, oh, that's 7. I don't know. I'm bad at math. But math is the universal language. They say that even if aliens from, 8,000 universes away came here, we could all speak the same language in mathematics. Because math is, even though I hate it because it's not creative to me, it's like I don't understand it, but whatever. Math is a constant. 1 and 1 are always going to be 2. You can call it 1 and 1 and 2, or you can call it apple, apple, and orange. You can call it blue, celery salt, and door handle, whatever you want to call it. Still, an item and an item is now 2 items. Absolute. It's an absolute language. So, anybody out there who is good at math, if it took this dude back in 1924, so we're talking, the first flights, when did the airplane dudes, Wright brothers, were they really brothers? What's that? Is conspiracy theory? I'm just kidding. So anyway, those 2 Wright dudes, made air travel a possibility. So in 1924, I'm sure planes were probably slower than a freaking, bicycle back then. I don't know. So it took the dude 18 hours and 41 minutes to go from the South Pole to fly over Antarctica. So there's something to be discovered in that amount of time if we can all figure this out. Okay, so just putting that out there, something to think about. All right, so here's the other thing about flying over Antarctica. Nowadays, it's highly frowned upon. Now, they say it's because, in my notes, it's called ETOPS. It's Extended Operations. I guess what it is I guess 2 things. Magnetically flying over the South Pole or the North Pole too. It can magnetically fuck with your instruments, whatever. And then also it is the, planes and stuff, in our modern world. the ability to track them or to rescue them if they went down or anything like that, the time needed to intervene if there's a problem is very regulated. I mean, that's why we have the FAA, and then also, of course, because of radio interference, or any kind of electronical interference, you can't. I mean, I don't want to be on a freaking Delta plane going to the Bahamas and have to worry about some dude on the ground with some sort of electronic device that could fuck up the plane's instruments and then I go down, you know what I'm saying? So the FAA regulates a lot of shit like that. So, I get it. It's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to bitch about that. But, I guess flying over the poles is highly frowned upon. I don't know if you get shot down or not, but freaking C-RAM is, you're fucking dead. But, I don't know about that. But nevertheless, I mean, you can't just call up, Delta or Southwest and be like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to Antarctica, no. And then a lot of flights to Antarctica, not to say that you can't fly there. I mean, you can. There are expeditions, that you can plan and stuff like that. Actually, one of my favorite bands, Metallica, you're like, who? They actually played down there. But to go to that concert, you had to go through South America. I want to say it was Chile, I think, or Sao Paulo. Is that? I mean, it was one of those, or Argentina. One of those, South American countries. That's how you had to take a flight to get to Antarctica to watch them play. So there's a lot of bullshit involved in any just normal person just flying to Antarctica. And, I mean, in my own mind, I'm thinking, one, I don't want to go there because it's cold. Two, it's not like, I mean, I can't sit on the beach. Well, I could sit on a beach, but it would be a polar ice cap in frigid waters while a freaking, seal jumps on my face. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not really looking forward to a trip to Antarctica. One place I do not have on my bucket list. But yet, the flat earthers are convinced that there's some real shady shit going on down there. And that, ice shelf, polar ice cap, what do you want to call it, is basically the end of the earth. That the earth is not a round, circumference ball, spinning ball that's just never ending. You could go to Antarctica and then keep flying and then end up in South America and then keep flying and then if we're going to end up in Africa or something. Like, you don't really believe that. They believe that, Earth is a flat plane. And if you keep on keeping on, you're going to end up in Antarctica. And then they even think that if you keep on keeping on through Antarctica, that you're finally going to hit something. Like, that's it. Either fall off into, I don't know what, the abyss, maybe hell, I don't know, spiritual, I don't know. Or there's a barrier, And they believe that whatever it is being hidden from us. That the early explorers of Antarctica and the South Pole found some shit down there that could possibly rewrite history and rewrite our future. So I don't know. Okay, so Here's what I believe. Let's see, where do I start? Do I believe in gravity? Yeah, I do believe in gravity. There is a force, whatever you want to call it. If I drop something, it's going to fall, and it's going to fall down. It's not going to fall sideways. It's not going to fall up. It's not going to hover and like levitate. If I scoop something off, the countertop, it's going to fall, quote unquote, fall down on the floor, the ground, the surface that's underneath it. And then let's say I had a ball. Let's say I had a tennis ball, and it's on the kitchen counter, and I swipe it, and it falls on the ground or the floor. Let's say there's some sort of, which in my apartment there is, let's say there's some sort of pitch to the floor. This is an old apartment. They needed a better foundation, but we won't get into that right now. We're talking about the earth right now. We ain't got time for foundations in an apartment. There's a pitch to the floor. So if the tennis ball falls on the ground, okay, tennis ball is kind of a bad because it would bounce. Okay, let's say a hard kind of ball, maybe a golf ball. Okay, golf balls aren't, well, it might bounce too. Anyway, okay, whatever, you get what I'm saying. It falls down and then it doesn't bounce, it sets. Then if there's a pitch to the floor, it is also going to roll downward of the pitch. It's not going to stay where it is. It's not going to fall up the pitch. It's going to roll down the pitch. And then once the pitch is ended and with whatever centrifugal force has pushed that ball, it's going to eventually stop at the lowest point on my floor. It just is. And I could do it 1,000,000 mega bajillion times. And there may be variances to it, but at the end of the day, the golf ball is going to end up at the lowest point, the lowest downward pitch of my floor if I drop it. That's gravity. Okay, now to be really gross. If your nose is bleeding, it's going to go down. If you're crying, it's going to go down. It's not going to go up. You don't cry up on your forehead. You cry on your cheek. If you're constipated, when you get on the potty, your poop comes down. Gravity pulls it. If you're having a baby, gravity pulls it. As you get older, you got to go get Botox because gravity has pulled it. Trust me. So there is gravity. And it is a force. You can sometimes feel it. Like if you fall, you're going to feel gravity. It's not random. It's a constant. And there is a force to it. So do I believe in gravity? Yeah. Now, let's talk about what I think about where gravity comes from or how it's created. Okay, so the flat earthers don't believe that the earth is a ball or that it spins. Now, is the ball spinning a bajillion miles an hour? No, that's not possible either. So within what we've been taught in that, that's kind of ridiculous too. That I don't believe that that's true. That doesn't make any sense. But I will say this. When I was a little girl, I was in first grade, so I was 6, I guess, or whatever. I had this purse. I was so proud of it. it was an actual purse. Like, it wasn't just some little baby thing that I'd had before. And I've always been like a girly girl, so I like all that kind of shit. So, although I got a mouth on me like a sailor, so whatever. But it had this little purse, and it had this long handle to it. And I played with it like it was a toy. So I had, stuff in it. I had, I don't know, I probably had some Hello Kitty lip gloss because I was wearing lip gloss, sneaking lip gloss back then. No, it was the baby kind. It was probably clear. And then I had, I don't know, maybe some pennies in it. And I probably had, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because this is like heavy items, not just paper. I probably had, what else would I have had? I always wrote and drew, so I probably had some crayons and maybe a pencil in it, whatever. So tangible, somewhat, well, items that had some sort of weight to them. Okay, not a tissue or a piece of paper. So I have this purse, and it zipped, but I had it unzipped for some reason. I was out in the backyard, and so I took the handle of it, and it was long. So I've got the handle here, and it's long, and then the purse is there, and then the other handle, I'm holding on to it. And I'm spinning around in a circle. I don't know why I did it. Weirdo, So I'm like spinning around in a circle, and I've got this purse, and the more I spin faster and faster and faster, and my purse starts rising up, right? As the faster I go, the centrifugal force. Then my purse is like out in front of me, like eye level, and I'll be fucking damn if none of my shit fell out. I was mesmerized. I did that probably for another couple of years intermittently, and I've never forgotten about it. And then when I went to Six Flags, and I was a little kid. I don't know how old I was, but there was this roller coaster. I think they still have it. It's called the Shockwave, or they've renamed it, whatever. Had 2 loops, right? And it was like scary as fuck. But I was a little kid, and my mom wouldn't go on it with me, but my dad would. So me and my dad get on this fucking roller coaster thing, and I was done. Like roller coasters now, which I still love, but now I ride them with my eyes closed. I want to feel it, but I want to see it. Back then, I didn't know, so I was like, like this. Oh my god! So I'm like watching the whole thing, and I'll be fucking damn if those 2 loops. You would think, oh, you're gonna fall out of it, right? Centrifugal force. You're like pushed into it. You're like down. So as you go through the loop with that force and that centrifugal force pushing you down, gravity, that spin, that fast looping, it's gravity. Now, I believe in God, and I'm like one of those weirdos that, I really believe in God. Like, I've already talked to him probably 17 times a day. I believe in God. I believe in angels. I believe in, well, I kind of believe in unicorns. Just kidding. I believe in everything. Anything spiritual, I'm like, okay, I believe it. So you could say, well, one, who the fuck cares? Because life is what it is, and it's beautiful, and it's fun, and it's awesome. Who cares if there's gravity? Who cares if there's not gravity? Whatever. Or you could say, there's no such thing as gravity, but God just holds everything together. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, but there is gravity, and there's centrifugal force, and the contents of my purse didn't fall out. And me and my dad didn't fall out of that roller coaster. And I could ride that roller coaster 8 bajillion more times. I'm not going to fall out of it. At least not on the loops. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I wasn't belted in on the loops, now the rest of it I'd fucking fall out, fly out, and die. But on the loops, I don't even need a seatbelt. Because the centrifugal force, the spin, it holds you down. It's gravity. So that leads me to believe that the earth has a spin to it. Flat earthers, don't get mad at me. Okay, now let's talk about the earth's shape. Okay. If you cook, and I wouldn't say I'm great at cooking, but I'm a damn motherfucking good baker. Like, I love baking stuff. I love making cookies. I love making pies. I make my own pie crust. I love taking dough. Now, I don't really make bread that well, but I can. But I love taking dough and fucking with it. It reminds me of Play-Doh when I was a little kid. Like, I love fucking with it and putting it out and rolling it or making it into a ball, whatever. And the thing is if you take dough and keep fucking with, now not when you roll it out, and with a rolling pin it's gonna be flat. Oh, okay, well that presents a problem in my hypothesis here. But when you're fucking with your dough and just rolling around and doing this stuff, the tendency always, as a constant, is that it turns into a ball. Now, it might not be a completely perfect ball. It might be kind of elongated. I mean, whatever. But there is this constant, what is the word I'm trying to look for? But this constant push, whatever, to become circular. And if you, let's see, I'm trying to give other examples of how when you spin something, okay, your washing machine, anytime you spin something, the natural propensity, the propensity of something spinning is to go from flat or elongated or kind of, whatever, no shape, just to mold into a ball. Then, when you think about force, what is the regular normal shape of most items that any type of sports has? It's always a ball. Now, I'm not saying that when you throw a baseball that you took something, wasn't a baseball, it was just some weird shape, and you threw it, to home plate and it became a ball. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's already a ball, but to projectile something, it's a ball. Now, okay, you could botch my theory with saying, well, bullets, rockets, something like that. That's not a ball. That's an elongated item, to pierce through the air, so, whatever. But that's that's a projectile. That's like a one-off. That's a pew, once, to get to your an arrow, to get to your target quickly one time, boom, from, point A to point B, shortest distance, boom, you're there. But a continuous spin creates something circular. So, if gravity has to come from centrifugal force, has to come from a spin, a constant spin, then the constant spin is going to create that object into a circular, global, round thing. Now, as you can tell, I don't know if I'm okay with my theory. I mean, I like the idea of a flat earth. I like the idea of God, separating, waters, or separating realms, maybe separating two spiritual realms. And of course, now we're getting into super old school, like freaking, post Jesus, like seriously, like first, second, and third AD, religious belief of the earth being, have a top to it, which is heaven, and have a bottom to it, which is hell. And once again, I do believe in the Bible. I mean, I do, word for word. No, I know it's been fucked with, but if we're talking about spirituality, then, then it would make sense that, the heavens, the firmament, hell, or whatever, separating realms and putting this other, form of existence into it. And we are a biological planet. I don't care if you have COVID, that's viral, and even all the poisons that went into it. Watch my other videos. Still, we're talking about biology, anatomy, physiology. I don't care if you're a viral piece of viral material from COVID, or whether you are, a high functioning human, or if you're a wombat. I love them. They're so cute. Who cares about what the shape of the earth is in? I just want more wombats. They're adorable. But whatever you are on this planet is biology. Even Jesus, whether you believe in that or not, but if you do believe in that, event, even Jesus was here as a human being. So I guess to live in this realm, you have to be a biological entity. At least while you're here, our souls are inside of a biological, vehicle. But it is tricky because, if the earth is the only planet, well, you can't even say that, because we know that, now I know the moon is not a planet, although I have often thought that it's a dead planet. Don't get me started. That's a whole other video. But nevertheless, the moon is a moon. The sun is a star. Stars are suns. It's a heat source. It's a, fiery ball. And then, of course, they've discovered other planets through telescopes. Now, you could argue a million times, and we won't get into that on this video, about whether space is real or not. If anybody's ever went off planet to actually, gotten off of this terrestrial existence and actually explored anything out there. I know there's a lot of talk, a lot of conspiracy theories that there's no such thing as space, or at least not human ability to go to space. I'm not going to touch on that right now, but although, here's a little crazy thing. NASA was formed by all of the German scientists who were Nazis. Well, not German. I mean, they were Austrian and, whatever. All of the Nazi scientists who weren't put to death after the Nuremberg trials because they were high assets to America. They all went to work for dun 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 NASA. Anyway, but if you think about everything about NASA and now SpaceX and, anything, interplanetary, even movies and stuff, it's all nautical terms. So is space water? And, they've shown a lot of conspiracies about taking the green screen behind you, which I don't have. This really is my kitchen. Having a green screen behind people who are in space suits, but they're actually underwater diving, and then they superimpose it to make it look like they're working outside of the International Space Station or on a spacecraft of some sort or floating around in space, but they're really in water. So I don't know. Who knows? But the other thing that I wanted to say is, speaking of a spiritual level, I know this video is, oh my gosh, I get off on my tangents. Here's what I have to say about God. God is a creator. He's the creator. In fact, most religions, even if they call God different things, they refer to him or it, whatever, as a creator. And I believe that there is one God. I believe that any other gods by other religions are either not real, or maybe they are, if people have interactions with those beings, those are probably angels, I mean, even Satan was an angel. So, but don't get me started on that. Oh my gosh, that's another video. But all religions refer to God as a creator, And now, although I don't agree with it, but now the new thing, oh my gosh, my hair, sorry. The new thing now is to call God woman, female, she, that, God is a goddess, But even still, I don't agree with it, but even still, that still furthers the idea that God is a creator. And if God is the absolute most creative being in the universe, whatever you want to call it, he creates. So why would Earth be the only planet? I believe that the universe is vast. Now, maybe it's all underwater. Maybe each planet, moon, star, sun is another pop-up of a firmament, a pop-up of that, volcanic, molding that comes from the volcano in the sea and pops up and forms into, Earth. Well, maybe those all popped up and were created out of the waters. And I just believe that God, God is all about, okay, the last time I'll fuck with my bangs, I swear, and then I'll turn this video off. Oh my God, stop it. God is about creation and love and eternity, and creating an entire cosmos makes sense because it's constant. I mean, there might be another planet being formed right this second. It makes sense that God would do that. And as far as the Earth being round and not flat, there's an end to it. In fact, there's ends of it. But a ball is eternal. And, you look up in the sky and see that the moon and the sun are round. And, I don't have a telescope, so I have never personally, through a telescope seeing another planet. I've only seen other planets through media, which they can fuck with our heads, which they do. They tell us all kinds of things and rewrite history and all that other kind of stuff. We'll start on that. But just with my own eyes, I see that, and even with life, lots of things are round. My face is round, probably too round because I need to stay off the sodas. But your eyes are round. Your teeth are even kind of round. Your ears are kind of round. Your fingernails are round. There's a lot of round shit on Earth, and that insinuates eternity. And I just assume, I don't know if I believe or think or know, but I assume that the earth would not be flat, that it wouldn't have an end to it, that it would be round. Now, I'm not saying it's perfectly round, it could be freaking oblong shaped, maybe it's shaped like a unicorn, I don't know. But, and our organs are kind of round. There's a lot of round shit. Tires on your car just to get somewhere is round. So, I don't know. That's what I think. It's weird, but now is the Earth spinning? However many? I forgot how they say it's like a bajillion miles an hour. Okay, that's a little ridiculous, but my points are: God is a never-ending creator. God is eternal. Things that are round have no end to them. Centrifugal force causes gravity, and centrifugal force is round, circular. So I don't know. We'll see. That's what I think. So, yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't be mean, though. I'm very sensitive. But you can put pictures of unicorns if you want. I don't know why I'm talking about unicorns, isn't it? That's so weird. Okay. Anyway, so if you're a flat earther, don't fall off the earth. And for everyone else, no matter what you believe, don't fall down because there's gravity. Okay. Talk to you soon.